Hello everybody and welcome to English Grammar with Ameya sir, and this is the episode 2 for the figures of speech, and today we are going to study a very important difference between antithesis, oxymoron and paradox. Believe me, that's the one question that I get frequently asked, and this comes as a request by one of our subscribers. There is a huge list. As you can see, there are about 13 different figures of speech that the student has requested for. We are going to cover 3 of them in this particular video. So let's get started. The first one we will deal with is antithesis. So what exactly is antithesis? Two opposite words, when they are used in the same line, we say that it is antithesis. The words are opposite in meaning. Now, the moment I say this, you will realize why today's video will be so important, because it all looks about opposite words, is it not? Antithesis, okay, paradox, then you have the oxymoron. So it looks like it's all about the opposite words, but there is a clear distinction, and that's why I have decided that these 3 should be done in one episode. So let's get back to the PPT. We were talking about antithesis, and so here are some examples. We'll deal with a couple of examples. The first one is he studied day and night. Now clearly you can see that this is antithesis because two opposite words day and night occur in the same line. It's all about study, but it's studying day and night. The next example, time is the same for rich as well as the poor. The entity is time and two opposite words are rich and poor. That's why this qualifies as antithesis. Now let's look at some textual examples for antithesis. Mind you, the students will get the full 1 mark should they write the correct name with the correct spelling of the figures of speech, and along with that they have to provide a proper explanation. Then only you deserve that 1 full mark. Okay, otherwise you will lose half of those points there. Now, reference is 10th standard for the first one, the poem The Will to Win by Burton Braley, and the line is work day and night for it. I think this is very similar to the example we saw on the last slide. The next one is Night of the Scorpion by Nissim Ezekiel, trying every curse and blessing. Clearly just simply two opposite words qualifies as antithesis. Third example, reference 10th standard, Oh Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman, but this is not from the English medium. This is the Marathi medium 10th standard. The vessel grim and daring. So grim and daring are the opposite words. And then you have reference from the HSC, the 12th standard, George Byron, She Walks in Beauty. And the line is, and all that's best of dark and bright. So dark and bright are the two opposite words that makes it the antithesis. So if this is antithesis, what exactly is oxymoron and how are they different? Now from this point onwards, I want really you to pay meticulous attention. Watch this meticulously. Give me your 100% undivided attention, because now we are about to see what exactly is the difference. It all looks about being contradictory, opposite words. So what is the clear difference between these 3? So we'll find out. Now we are studying oxymoron. So what exactly is it? Two opposite words are used next to each other. Now this last part is so important here. Placed next to each other. So they are juxtaposed. They are what? They are juxtaposed side by side, and then they bring out the contrast. Let's look at the examples, you'll understand better. If I say he is regularly irregular, then that is a classic example of oxymoron. How is he? He is regularly irregular. So that brings out that contrast there. It's not just about being opposite words, it's about being juxtaposition to bring out the irony. That qualifies as oxymoron. Another example will be, the doctor showed some cruel kindness. Now, what's that? He showed kindness that was cruel. So, the doctors, they have to inject the baby, and then, so it definitely will prick, but then that's for the betterment. That's for better health. So that's kind of a cruel kindness that brings out what is known as oxymoron. Observe how nice the difference is, the subtle difference, but a clear difference. So now post this video, you really should not have any doubt about what is antithesis and what is oxymoron. Now let's move on to some textual examples. For oxymoron, the first reference is the 11th standard, the FYJC, the poem The Planners, and Boy Cheng says, so history is new again. What do you mean by history and new? History is new again. That is a classic case of oxymoron. Romeo and Juliet, William Shakespeare, immortal work. Oh, loving hate. What's that? Oh, loving hate, he says. So that's a very good reference. It's a very popular line indeed. Again, Knight of the Scorpion, Nissim Ezekiel has provided us with an oxymoron. May the poison purify. What are you talking about? May the poison purify? You're talking about poison, right? So that's what oxymoron is. And there are many Hollywood movies that are a great example, that can be great examples of oxymoron. So one such reference is Slumdog Millionaire. Come on, Slumdog, a millionaire. There are other examples. For example, True Lies. There is a movie, is it not? True Lies. What can it be? What is that? True Lies. So there are a lot of those examples. You can find that out. And these figures of speech also apply to other languages. I've said that many a time. So you can have examples from the Indian cinema as well that are an example of oxymoron. And the third and the last we are going to study for this episode is paradox. So now you know antithesis. Now you are familiar with what is an oxymoron. So how is paradox different to them? When the latter part is in contrast to the part at the start. So in short, I will say that the line towards the end kind of contrasts whatever the line stated at the start. Understand it again. The line towards the end contradicts whatever was stated at the initial part of the sentence. That makes it the paradox. So there is this clear difference. Antithesis, just single entity and two opposite words. For oxymoron, there is juxtaposition. They're placed side by side and then they bring out the contrast. Like cruel kindness. You remember that example? So it's kindness, but it's cruel kindness kind of. That's oxymoron. Movie Slumdog Millionaire we saw. A paradox, how is that different? It's when the entire latter part, so if you were to divide the sentence into half, okay, if you were to halve it, then the latter part will contradict what was there in the initial part. So we are going to study some examples, don't you worry. The first one is, India is a rich country with poor people. Now, come on, India is a rich country with poor people. Isn't that sort of contradicting? You divide the line into half and you will really be amazed. The next one, oh, by the way, how do you write this? You say paradox and then you say contradictory ideas are expressed in the same line. I like this explanation. It's not just about the opposite words here. Point to be noted. Next one, spend money to earn money. Now this is ridiculous. It's true, but it's really hilarious when you read it the first time. I mean, what? Spend money to earn money. So if you divide it into, halve it, like you draw a line at 2, then spend money, earn money. What's that? So again, contradictory ideas. The other way you can write it is the same line has contradictory ideas. But this is also one way to write paradox that I like. Okay. Let's deal with some examples, 4 of them. The first 2 are just general examples. First one, nobody goes to that restaurant. It is too crowded. Now, isn't this amazing? Nobody goes to that restaurant. So I'm saying nobody goes. And then I'm saying it's too crowded. So now you understand the whole meaning here, but then it brings out the paradox. Now you're getting this perfectly, I have no doubt. I need you to put it in the comments if this was helpful. So you draw the line there, you have it, and then you would find out that the second part completely contradicts the initial part. The next common general example is, anyone who can write such a thing can never write anything at all. Yeah, sure, bringing out the paradox there, 100%. And now for some examples from literature. Famous line by Socrates. We did a lesson about Socrates for the 9th standard Marathi medium a few weeks ago, probably last week. I know one thing that I know nothing, said by the famous philosopher Socrates. What did he say? I know one thing. So he knows one thing. And what's that? That I know nothing. So that's a great example of paradox. And in everyday conversation, you have this fantastic example, which is, I think this is the beginning of the end. This is the beginning of the end. So you can always now know the distinction between antithesis, paradox, and oxymoron. We will definitely meet in the next episode because the list is quite exhaustive and all the figures of speech have not yet been covered. This is just the second part. I will definitely see you again in the third part. Hope you enjoyed this. Do leave your comments. Please take care. Bye bye.